Hey, this is Steve Rode from the Penny Stupid Project. Look, I don't know what happened. Technical error. Lost my video for this entire video podcast. So, I have made an unsuitable replacement. Enjoy. Hey, you're back with Steve Rode and that guy, Damon Day. And we're here to talk about just thoughts about Amazon FBA, fulfilled by Amazon. I wanted to share some thoughts with Damon this morning. He has said something to me over the past week that, I don't know, just stuck with me, and I woke up this morning thinking about it. When I talk about what I'm doing with FBA, selling on Amazon, Damon has occasionally said, yeah, but how much time are you spending on that? Right?
I have.
You have. And I think that's a great question. I'd like to talk about that for a minute. Now, Amazon FBA can take a minute a day or all day. Now, when you compare what Damon is doing with rideshare, not that long ago, I think it might have been in the last week, you were out for 24 hours doing some sort of delivery. And so that takes away from your ability to do FBA, but you're investing time in one thing versus another. If I spent 24 hours sourcing products and getting things ready, I'd have a lot of stuff done. Now, you hear me talking about how much time I'm spending on building my FBA business, but that's because I'm really focused on it and concentrating on it. And so it does occupy 4 to 8 hours of my day sourcing and buying things, because my goal is to buy new inventory, at least $600 a day in inventory. And that results in sales. Yesterday, my sales were over $1,000, which is pretty good. I would love to do that every day. And the reason that they was because, you know, I'm green, I'm a newbie, I'm sharing this with everybody. I'm learning the lessons that everybody has to learn. But the reason that they were over $1,000 was because I focused on my pricing and repricing of items, and I tuned my strategy a little bit, and it really paid off. In fact, I woke up this morning to $220 in sales, and that sale was actually one item, and it sold in Canada. So now Amazon FBA, once you get going, if you're paying attention, you can stock your items in the United States, send them to one warehouse, and Amazon will now sell them in both Canada and Mexico if you opt into that. And I have been selling items in Canada. It's great. I only have to send it one place, don't have to deal with it. Amazon deals with currency conversion. They charge a little percentage. It's perfectly fine. And that has been wonderful. But this idea of time, Damon, I don't want it to stop you from getting going with FBA, because if you thought about how much time, of the time that you spend driving, how much of that time do you think is downtime that you could use to pull out your laptop and look for products, if I showed you?
Well, it depends on the strategy. I could make more time. So a lot of it actually is downtime. If I'm out 24 hours, which is rare, the reason I was out 24 hours is because it was New Year's Eve, and there was bonuses going off the chart, and it was ride.
Right.
So that night,
No, I agree.
Now I made $850 that night, so I'm
Right.
kosher with that. But there are definitely days where it's so slow. I'm just sitting there. Not only am I sitting there at the charger, I've been sitting at the charger so long, my car is fully charged, and I've unplugged, and I'm still sitting at the charger, hoping to get a ride. So there's plenty of time I have where, I could pull out the laptop and bang around on it. What I can say, though, I could drive for 24 hours, but if I was trying to source product for 24 hours, I'd want to shoot myself.
Yeah.
That just seems boring.
Well, not only can it be very boring to do that and frustrating after a whole bunch of hours, but there comes a time where you're juggling all sorts of data in your head and you just cannot make good decisions. So I would say intensive brain activity in a given day, I probably spend 3 hours of that, and probably 3 hours getting boxes, repackaging, labeling things, doing what I need to do on the computer, tracking items, sending them into Amazon, which is just meaningless grunt work that has to be done. So,
Well, one of the things I actually like about driving for me is it actually gives me a break mentally, because here
yeah,
I'm here all day helping clients with debt, figuring out strategies, just, intense brain work, or if you will, right? And
right.
then I get to leave the house because I've worked from home since I was in college. So it's actually nice for me to get a break, leave the house, and just go out, drive, chit chat with people. It's just for me, it's really a stress relief. So it's nice to be able to do that and get paid for it. So if I replace that time
absolutely.
with FBA, it would almost be like I don't get a break. Not to say I don't want to try the FBA, because I absolutely do, and see where it goes, but it would almost be like, okay, I'm done with this stuff in the office. Now I'm going to stay here and do this stuff in the office, and I'm going to never get out of here.
I don't want you. You don't need to stay there. That's the beautiful thing about FBA is if you've got your brand new laptop that you have, and you're out sitting near the charger, you can source items and buy them there. So it's the best of both worlds. I just don't want anybody to get stuck on, this is going to take me all day. It only has to take you as much time as you want. If you want to make an extra $500 a month or $1,000 a month, you don't have to spend all day doing it.
Well, in FBA, you actually kind of have to get out of that per hour mentality, because
absolutely.
FBA is something that it's kind of like a YouTube channel, right? You're going to spend a shit ton of time in the beginning for no return, really. What was your first month? $30.
$30.
How many hours the first month did you spend
on
FBA?
Shit, probably over 100.
So 100 hours. So anybody looking at that goes, oh, that's not worth it. You're only making 30 cents an hour or whatever it is, right? So it's not, you can't think of it in terms of how much money per hour am I making. You're thinking of it as I'm investing my time into this. So hopefully it'll get to a point where I don't even have to think about time versus dollars anymore. It's just money coming in. And the other thing about FBA, I was thinking about this last night, 2 nights ago, while I was driving, actually, I was thinking about this.
Excellent.
Because I was thinking about a challenge of, maybe like, can I make $50,000? Like for me, you're going to teach me the stuff, can I make 50 grand the first year? And I'm going to be starting with that $3,000, right? And we're just going to try to roll it over. And I started thinking about, well, how much realistically could I make if it took, maybe I rolled over inventory on average every 60 days, and on average I was making 50% profits. I'm just running numbers in my head, and I got to right around 50 grand only if I reinvested 100% of everything I made, just right back in the business, use that to buy inventory. So that brought up a really good thought, that even if I went and I made $50,000, if I had to reinvest all of that stuff, that's me pulling nothing out of that business for that first year. That's just growing that business. And that's a big kind of paradigm shifting idea for a lot of people. When you say, oh, I made 50 grand, you didn't get 50 grand and get to put it in your pocket and go spend it. That generated 50 grand that is now sitting, floating in inventory on month 13, trying to make more money in the next year, right? So FBA is something that you might not technically make in terms of how we think of making $1. I can go buy an ice cream. Well, not anymore, but you're not going to actually even make $1 potentially for a year or more, because if your goal is to grow that business, you don't want to pull any money out. You want to keep it all in. So it's just funny money at that point until it actually becomes to a level where you're making enough and you're circulating enough inventory, if you will, that you can start skimming off the top. But that first year, you might not make a buck.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to grow and scale your business, leaving it all in. I was watching a YouTube video yesterday on an experienced seller, and that's exactly what he said. He goes, the first year I just kept reinvesting my profits and just magnified my business, because the way that you save money and have more money to reinvest is you try to control your spending, like not hiring virtual assistants, not hiring a prep house, not hiring whatever. And that means that you have to do more of it yourself. Me personally, I have found that I'm using the prep house that I have to receive items and send them to Amazon less and less. And I'm having more and more items sent to me personally, because I have found that I need to look at the item and make sure it's exactly what it's supposed to be, make sure it's in good shape, and then send it to Amazon. That's the only way that I know that everything that I have done is correct, because the prep house doesn't necessarily have the same emotional investment that you do to getting things right. I don't care how big or small they are. Now,
I wouldn't say it doesn't necessarily. I would say absolutely does not have the same emotional investment in the product that you do.
I was trying to be nice.
No. But you bring up a good point, though, because if you're not earning an income from FBA for a while, you have to be in a situation where you have income coming in from something else to support your family or whatever it is, right?
Yep.
At the same time, you're trying to build this. So you always have that balance. Like you mentioned, it's nice to have a VA and the prep house and all that stuff, but you also have to be careful of how much time you're going to be spending with the business versus are you still able to make money to sustain yourself and your family over the year or two that you're trying to grow this business. So that's going to be the balancing act that people have to walk, and it's going to be different for everybody. Some people maybe your spouse works and they make enough money to cover all of the expenses, and you're just want to start FBA just for some extra money, and you don't need to make any money, so you can devote a ton of your own time into it. So you can start, forget prep houses, all that. You can do it. But for other people that have a full-time job and have to maintain that, or another business, they might have to, have that trade-off of, okay, I would save more money and it would be done right if I did it myself, but I just don't physically have that time right now. I need to invest in that prep house or whatever. So it's good that you're doing both, so we can kind of see, is it even worth it? How much does it cost? And how bad do they mess up? Because they have messed up a few times.
Oh my God. Yeah, it has. I think that they have done an above average job for a business that receives items
from your vendors. They've done an above average job, Damon.
Yeah, because the problem is, okay, when I source something, I look at it, I identify, I've looked at all the data, I know the product, I have seen what I am buying, and these two things match up. When they get it, it's just another box for them. And like, for example, if I buy, one time I buy 10 of something and then I buy 4 of something, it's the same thing, right? I've made 2 different purchases. What ends up happening is it goes to the warehouse, and if they get 4, they just assign it to the first item that... Did I disappear?
You did. You disappeared. The horse you rode in on.
Damn. I hit my space bar.
You're here.
That's what happened. Okay. When an item comes in, they just assign it to the last open item that they have that they're waiting for. And so my inventory numbers were getting all screwed up. And it was a nightmare.
So that doesn't make any sense, because there's shipping delays and different things coming from different places. So whenever they get something, it just comes to the next one in line, and they don't verify that that's not the right thing?
Correct.
So are you now not sending anything? Have you basically stopped shipping to them? You're out.
I've stopped. Yeah.
Fokker out.
So lesson learned, right? So you watch or you read stuff online about getting started with FBA, and people talk about, eventually you have to scale and get a prep house and stuff like that. Just realize that is going to create a new level of complexity and suck up more of your time. And money.
Wait, so you've got everything now going to your house?
Yes.
You're losing me, Steve. You're losing me big time. I hate those little details of packaging and getting this and... Can we find another prep house, please?
Well, the problem when you're getting started is it's really hard to find a prep house, because most of them only want to deal with big sellers. Like, I found one that was nearby. It would have been perfect, but they said, unless you're selling at least 10,000 items a month, I'm sorry, we're not accepting new clients.
So think about this. Forget 10,000. Like, how would you even handle 500 items a month that you're physically taking receipt of, sorting, packaging? I mean, that's a full-time job and a half, man. That's a lot of crap. I mean, is that...
Well, yeah, but again, it's how fast you want to grow things, how fast you want to scale the business. Let me see. I've got a box here that I got to finish working on. It's going to have 20 items in it today.
Oh, you know what? Okay, I forgot. You're still sending everything to Amazon, so you're not that is a little bit different than you sending it to each individual buyer. So I forgot
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
no, I'm not doing that.
So you're sending them to Amazon in batches, but
Yeah,
is it all the same item in each batch?
no, like this one is a mixed. Hold on a second. Let me give you an example. This batch has a Godzilla doll and a calendar, a bunch of calendars. So they're a bunch of mixed items. When I buy items, I'm looking for my return on investment. I don't really care what the item is.
Okay, so but now you are. So right now, I know you're still growing, but like last month, you made what, close to 3,000 profit in December.
Yeah.
What's your best guess on how many items you purchased and sent? I know the prep house did it, but what's your best estimate on how many items that was? And I know that
Well, I
doesn't
focus
exactly
on
correspond to the 3,000, but I'm just kind of trying to get an idea of how many items you would have had to handle in December.
Probably 200-300. But that's actually not that big a deal because, when I buy something, I'm generally buying 20 of one thing.
Different strokes for different folks, man.
Well, I've been doing it a little bit longer.
I know.
And so, I now use Inventory Lab, which is something that we'll talk about for managing your inventory. And I put it in. I can do all my stuff to get it ready to send to Amazon right there in Inventory Lab. And when I scan it in and I say, hey, this is going in this box to Amazon, it automatically prints out the labels. So all that is real time saving. And I've got an empty garage bay that I'm not using, and I could scale this. And
just make sure you subscribe and follow along because we're figuring all this shit out.
That's right. Like the video right now. If you've heard anything that you like the video. Give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, we'll tell you the real deal, man. If it sucks, it sucks. Like, last week we're like, oh, we got this prep house. Steve's talking about maybe making $500,000 a year, and everything's going great. Then all of a sudden, prep house screws up a few things, and it's like panic, pump the brakes. Now he's taking on everything, trying to reset it so all this stuff doesn't get screwed up. Because you had a nightmare of a week last week just trying to find lost crap.
Yeah, so I ordered 10 copies of a cookbook, and the vendor sent, and this was off Walmart.com, and I received 10 pairs of cheap earrings that I never ordered.
Sounds right.
Eventually, the prep house and I figured out that the seller sent the earrings instead of the books. So that was a nightmare to try to figure out. If I had received that box myself and I saw who the seller was and I opened it up and I saw there were earrings, boom. It wouldn't have taken me 2 days of digging to try to figure it out.
So business idea. Anybody watching, start a damn prep house. FBA is all the rage right now. Sounds like a good business idea. A legit prep house. They can market it like, for FBA sellers by FBA sellers or whatever. You know how they do?
Yeah,
right?
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, this deal was started by people just like you because we know your pain. So here's why we're better, right?
Yeah. So, but this is why when you start sourcing items, I want you to buy 2 or 3 of something, and I want it to go to your house, and I'll show you. You don't need all these fancy label printers that I have or the barcode scanner. You don't need any of that to start because it's only going to take you just a little bit of time to deal with those items and send them in. And then as you learn that process, we can scale it. And you don't have to scale it more than the available time that you have. So when you think about time, next time you ask me or say, how much time is this going to, you don't say it like that. How much time is this going to take? It's up to you.
Yeah, well, I've actually been trying to get an Amazon route in my neighborhood. Apparently, it's a choice route because I can never get one. But I've always...
you mean a flex route?
Amazon Flex, yeah, a route when I'm driving,
Okay.
right? I don't know. I just had this idea of my wife has so much crap coming in this house every day. It'd be kind of cool to get paid back a little bit to bring it. So I was just kind of thinking that if I have to get all this stuff sent to my house, maybe I can save
Yeah,
a little
you
bit of
could
money
deliver
by
it.
delivering it to myself. I could just be going through sort in the back of my car going, oh, that's mine. That one's mine. That one's mine.
Just toss it in the back seat.
Yeah,
That's mine.
that one stays with me.
All right, there's one more. This thoughts about FBA that I've had today. There's one more thing I want to talk about, and that is Amazon seller support. So the nice thing is, if you have any sort of issue, you can open a case and talk to the seller support. And they're supposed to be there to help you. And Damon, I don't know how long it's going to take, but it won't take long for you to have some issue and just want to reach through the computer and strangle somebody, because it is very frustrating. Obviously, the people who are first level support at Amazon to help sellers are the lowest paid people.
No, not at Amazon, at every effing place.
Okay, that's true. I have an item that I'm dealing with right now. I sent 2 things in. Amazon received it, like, let's say November 15th. And it just sat there, said receiving. Like, what are you doing with it? And a month later, they finally said, items in box, 0. So somewhere they lost it. They lost the 2 items. It happens. And, UPS loses things along the way, too. The first time that I had lost inventory like that, boom, Amazon paid me for the lost inventory. Now, on these 2 stinking items, they're saying I need proof of ownership and an invoice from the seller. And when I ask questions, all they have done is just said the same thing back to me time and time again.
That's the go-to.
And now we're at the point. Yeah, I mean, honest to God, I watched a YouTube video yesterday about escalating customer support issues with Amazon seller support. And the guy said something that I now to believe absolutely true, which is they want you to fold at no.
Yeah. Oh, level 1 customer support at any company is frustrate the fuck out of you until you just give up. That's the point.
Right. So right now on this situation, I found the Amazon policy of what you have to do, and it says we accept seller receipts. So I have provided a receipt. This was 2 things. It was 2 smart thermostats that I purchased at Home Depot. And I scan and save to PDF every receipt that I get, because inevitably you're going to need them. And now the case has been escalated, but it wasn't before. I just had to be a jerk. So just be prepared that it. What?
Let's see if anybody recognizes this phone call. I'd like to speak to a live person.
Yeah.
No, operator.
Yeah.
The
representative.
I'm having an issue with my account. No, it's you can operator, live person, account problem.
0.
Account problem. I need to speak with the live representative. Thank you. That's pretty much it.
Or you push the pound sign and it goes.
Yeah. And if you say operator, that just ages you. I think I'm on the bottom end of operator. But I still catch myself saying operator sometimes. Operator, we have a problem.
So those are my thoughts today on Amazon FBA. That's all I wanted to share with you. We always have these conversations without recording them, and then inevitably at the end of them we say, damn, we should have recorded that because that's good information.
I don't think we should talk on the phone anymore. I think we should just have our setup.
No,
and whenever we want to talk, this is how we talk. And then hit the record in case there's some gems in there. So basically the takeaway is you made $1,000 and you're frustrated as hell. But you made money for your frustration.
Yeah.
And we're working through it.
And how far are you on getting registered with your FBA account?
Well, where did I leave off?
You left off having to gather together your information to submit.
Yes.
Okay, we're right there. Okay, we haven't proceeded any further. But,
Hey, if
you know,
anything,
the next video we
if anything,
do,
I'm predictable, Steve.
I'm the nag. You're predictable.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So till next time, more thoughts on FBA coming up. Share what we learn along the way. And our next FBA video, teaching FBA video, will be once Damon gets his shit done and gets registered.
Tomorrow.
Okay. All right. For now, see ya. All right. This time we'll do the 15 minutes, 15 seconds of talking, and then we'll do the...
Should we do bobblehead?
Bobble. Yeah.
Talking. No shit. All right. Yeah.
Well, I'm approved to sell Funko on Amazon.
That was like 2 weeks ago.
And yeah, fine. Everything's done. I go and it says, yes, you're approved to sell Funko. I go to sell an item this morning, a Funko item. It says, no, you're not approved. So I have to go to seller support. Just want to.
It's a ringing fucking endorsement you got going on the last few days of why I want to totally jump in here on this thing.
Hey, I don't care what it is, man. It's not a stinky customer.